Today I share some of the books that I plan to reread in the year 2021. So let's get started. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Rachel here. As always, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a thing. You can also like this video so that it is referred to other viewers as well. So like I said, today I'm going to be sharing some books that I plan to reread this year, which I'm pretty excited about, by the way. I rarely reread books. I never reread fiction books. I feel like once I've had the experience, I love it. There's plot twists, I'm gasping, I'm crying, I'm screaming, and then I move on and that's it. But then with non-fiction, sometimes I would go back probably to highlight some lessons learned, or to post something on my social media that really stuck with me, or just to refresh my memory on things that I've learned in the past. So with non-fiction, I typically reread, and non-fiction in terms of self-help, right? So these particular books I'm pretty excited about because when I read them, I had very lovely reading experiences, and I just feel like they are just beautiful books that everyone should read. The 5 books are actually written by African writers, which I'm always going to be so proud of. One is actually non-fiction, an autobiography, and the others are pure fiction. So without wasting time, let's get started. The first book that I plan to reread is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. Anytime I think about my experience reading this book the first time in 2018, I always have like a smile on my face, and the smile like wants to tear my face into two or something, because I really enjoyed this book. I'm such a huge fan of Trevor Noah. I've watched all his specials, I've watched all his stand-ups. I literally go to YouTube sometimes to just go and make sure that I've caught up on every single thing that he did ever since he was born, as long as it was on a stage. If I can find it on YouTube, then I'm watching it. I love watching The Daily Show because of him, and I just think that he's an all-round smart guy and just very funny. Trevor, call me. I literally used to creep to the bathroom at work to go and just have like 5 or 10 minutes where I could read this book, because it was so funny, it was so engaging. It was literally what I would define as unputdownable. And when I wrote down my review on my website, then that was actually what I said. I was so happy that I read this book, and just thinking about my experience makes me want to read it all the more. It's an autobiography. It's purely non-fiction. Trevor just talks about his life story, being born a crime, which you will eventually know why he refers to himself as that he was born a crime. But it's just so interesting, all the experiences that he had to go through as a mixed race South African child growing up in South Africa during apartheid. Trevor Noah's path from apartheid South Africa to the desk of The Daily Show in New York began with a criminal act: his birth. Trevor was born to a white Swiss father and a black Xhosa, I think that's how it's pronounced, Xhosa mother, at a time when such a union was punishable by 5 years in prison. Born a Crime is the story of a mischievous young boy who grows into a restless young man as he struggles to find himself in a world where he was never supposed to exist. It is also the story of his relationship with his fearless, rebellious, and fervently religious mother, his teammate, a woman determined to save her son from the cycle of poverty, violence, and abuse that would ultimately threaten her own life. The 18 personal essays collected here are by turns hilarious, dramatic, and deeply affecting. Whether being thrown from a moving car during an attempted kidnapping, or trying simply to survive the life and death pitfalls of dating in high school, Trevor illuminates his world with an incisive wit and an unflinching honesty. If you've not read this book, my goodness, you actually have to read it. Like, Trevor's life story is so amazing, and his mom, oh my goodness, his mom is a character on her own, and I really love the way he wrote this book. The next book that I'm looking to reread in 2021 is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. Ayobami Adebayo is a fantastic writer. Like, this book was my best read for 2020. It was my best fiction read for 2020, and I put that up when I talked about like my top books for the year 2020. It was published in 2017, and it's crazy how I had not read it until 2020, but my goodness, the plot twist in this book, like, I'm so jealous of people who actually read this book for the first time, because it was that amazing. Like, the plot twists were just brilliant, they were thoughtful, they were, oh my goodness, like, meanwhile, I hear that Ayobami Adebayo has another book that is scheduled to come out in June 2022. That seems so far away. I don't even know why they're making the announcement now. Like, what are people like us supposed to do? Yejide is hoping for a miracle for a child. It is all her husband wants. all her mother-in-law wants, and she has tried everything: arduous pilgrimages, medical consultations, dances with prophets, appeals to God. But when her in-laws insist upon a new wife, it is too much for Yejide to bear. It will lead to jealousy, betrayal, and despair. Unraveling against the social and political turbulence of 80s Nigeria, Stay With Me sings with the voices, colors, joys, and fears of the time. This is a devastating story of the fragility of married love, the undoing of family, the wretchedness of grief, and the all-consuming bonds of motherhood. Stay With Me is a tale about our desperate attempts to save ourselves and those we love from heartbreak. My reaction all through while I was reading this book, it was just so insane. You guys can go and check out my review that I did. I did a spoiler-free review because there is no way that I'm going to give any spoilers about this book. I'm just going to gush about how good it is and how beautifully it's written so that you guys can go and check it out yourself. So yeah, this is one that I'm excited to read. I will keep you guys updated on these books that I am rereading this year. If you've read, please let me know in the comments what you thought about it. No spoilers for those who haven't read. And if it's something that you're going to read, let me know as well. The third book that I plan to reread this year is Daughters Who Walk This Path by Yejide Kilanko. I read this book in July 2019 and I absolutely loved it. Like, oh my goodness, when I was done with this book, I think I called Chill, my friend. I was literally weeping, I was crying, I was like, no, why? I was like on the bed, like we spoke about this book for like 30 minutes after I finished reading it. I'm like, why is life like this? It was just an emotional one, but it was such a beautiful story. Let me read out what this is about. Spirited and intelligent, Morayo grows up surrounded by school friends and family in Ibadan. There is Eniayo, her adoring little sister, for whose sake their middle-class parents fight stigmatizing superstition, and a large extended family of cousins and aunts who sometimes make Morayo's home their own. A shameful secret forced upon her by Bros T, her cousin, thrust Morayo into a web of oppressive silence woven by the adults around her. Morayo must learn to fiercely protect herself and her sister as young women growing up in a complex and politically charged country. This book, oh my goodness, I think that she did such a great job and I can't wait to get back into it. Just reading the synopsis just makes me, and I think that what really endeared me to the characters of this book were like the fact that Morayo and her sister reminded me so much of me and my sister because their relationship was so beautiful. But I thought that it was such a lovely read. The fourth book that I plan to reread this year, also by an amazing African writer, it's titled The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives by Lola Shonei. The reason why I'm looking forward to rereading this book again this year is because it is going to be made into is it a Netflix series or something? There's just going to be a screen adaptation of this book and I cannot wait to see it. I'm just really hoping that I won't be disappointed by the casting because I know how this Nigerian movie industry people, like when I was seeing some of the suggestions that they were giving to Mo Abudu and Lola, I'm like, oh my goodness, no, you guys, like, no, can we just have new people who are not like the old, I don't know, like somebody was saying Sharon Oja, I'm like, what, like, as who now, like, why? So no, please, I'm so overprotective of how the screen adaptation of this book is going to come. I'm just really hoping that they use very good actors and actresses who may not necessarily be so popular and so like, oh my goodness, I'm so glamorous. I'm just really hoping that they're able to pull this off really well because this is such a very good book. Anyway, let me read out the synopsis of this book. Meet the man of the house, plump and prosperous. He has 7 children, but his desire for more just might be his undoing. And his wives, the first will stop at nothing to rule the house. The second is shy and timid. Her life is shadowed by fear. The third is a schemer with crimson lips and expensive taste. And the fourth doesn't know it, but she has the power to unmask them all. That's literally all that there is in terms of the synopsis of this book. Like, it's just so short, but this is such an interesting book that explores, obviously, the lives of Baba Segi's wives. Each wife has a secret that you know, she is hiding, and some of the secrets are like mind-blowing. There's like amazing plot twist. It's such an engaging and interesting read, and I cannot wait to reread. If you've read The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives, please let me know. The fifth book that I'm looking forward to reading is Swallow by Sefi Atta. I love Sefi Atta. I love the way she writes. I think that she's such an amazing writer. It was released in 2011, but I actually read it in October 2019 for the first time. So this book was gifted to me, and I just dropped it on my shelf for months, and I actually did not read it. So when I then got to reading it, I'm like, what on earth? So I posted a written book review on my website then, because I hadn't started making content for booktube then, and it was like really lovely. Anyway, the synopsis: it is the mid-1980s in Lagos, and the government's war against indiscipline and austerity measures are in full operation. Tolani Ajao is a secretary working at Federal Community Bank. A succession of unfortunate events lead Tolani's roommate and colleague Rose to persuade her to consider drug trafficking as an alternative means to making a living. Tolani's subsequent struggle with temptation forces her to reconsider her morality and her mother, Arikez, as she embarks on a turbulent journey of self-discovery. This book, actually, which I found out, I don't know whether it's Kunle Afolayan or somebody who is also adapting it into a screen version of the book. Like, I think maybe it's going to be a series or a movie. I really don't know, but I'm interested in seeing how that works. This is also one of those books that are set in like 80s Nigeria, and I think that it's going to be very interesting to see. So yeah, these are the books that I plan to reread in the year 2021. I'm pretty excited about them because I loved my reading experiences while I was reading them. I will keep you guys updated. Maybe I may do book reviews on them, maybe I may not, because I've already done written book reviews. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, let me know if you've read any of these books, which one was your favorite, if you're rereading any books this year, let me know in the comments as well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.